Sorry, you may step down. Call your witness.
The state would call investigator Jean Crow, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, will you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, ma'am. Larry, L-A-R-Y, Eugene, E-U-G-E-N-E, Crow, Zero, W, Jr.
And what is your official title at work?
Investigator.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed at the Galveston County Sheriff's Office.
And I'm going to ask to slow down just a little bit just for a court reporter.
Yes, ma'am.
How long, or I guess let me ask it this way, are you currently a peace officer?
I've been a police officer 36 years.
And in order to become a police officer, what sort of training or education are you required to have?
Go to a certified police academy, and then once you complete the police academy, you go to an agency, apply at agencies to carry your license.
And do you have to take any sort of test or certification?
Yes, ma'am. A T-code test.
And what does that consist of?
It's going to certified police academy. You take a 200 question test. Once you complete the test, you pass the test, and you start applying for a police officer's job.
And when you first start, you said you get a basic peace officer license?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the only type of peace officer license?
Once you get established in law enforcement, you move up to intermediate, advanced, and master, which I currently hold a master's peace officer.
So once you passed your TCOL certification, where was the first place that you were employed as a peace officer?
I started out at Lamarck Police Department as a reserve officer because my dad was chief. I couldn't work full time. And then moved on and got hired on the Texas City Police Department.
And what did you do, or how long were you at Texas City Police Department?
I was in the Texas City Police Department 26 years.
And what was the first role that you had there?
As a Texas City Police officer, I was a patrol officer for 4 years, then moved into crime scene.
And so if you were there 26 years, is it fair to say the majority of your career was in crime scene?
Yes, ma'am.
And for those of us who may not be as familiar with law enforcement, what is crime scene? What does that mean?
Crime scene is you go out to a scene. Once you arrive at the scene, you sit there and you document what the scene is by photographing, sketching, and collecting physical evidence. And once you collect the evidence, you're responsible for the chain of custody of it.
And do you have any sort of specialized training in order to go into crime scene?
Yes, ma'am. I have intermediate and advanced crime scene. I also have blood stains, level 1, sheeting reconstruction, level 1. Also a latent print examiner, which I currently went to a basic, intermediate, and advanced level for fingerprints to be an examiner. Also have a basic instructor's license. I'm a field training officer, and currently I also just completed the FBI LEDA trilogy.
So is it fair to say you've had a lot of training?
Yes, ma'am.
And so you stated you were at Texas City crime scene for the majority of your 26-year stint at Texas City, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that where you completed your law enforcement career, or did you go somewhere after Texas City?
Once I retired from Texas City Police Department, I went back to Lamar Police Department where I could work full time. I did 4 years at Lamar Police Department. I worked patrol for 2 weeks and then was assigned to the crime scene unit.
And then after those 4 years, did you go anywhere else?
Yes, ma'am. I left Lamar Police Department and hired on with the Galveston County Sheriff's Office, are currently employed.
And what is your current assignment within the Galveston County Sheriff's Office?
I'm an investigator in the crime scene investigation unit.
And about how many people are in your unit?
Total of 6.
What is kind of a daily life for you as an investigator in the crime scene unit?
Just depending on how the day goes, if a call drops, then whoever's next up will take that call, where it's a burglary call, auto pedestrian call, or a homicide call.
When you get assigned to go to a call, do you handle it as one investigator does everything, or do y'all have more of a team approach?
When it's a major scene, it's a team approach.
I want to, before we get into the events that brought us here today, I want to talk a little bit about how you approach a crime scene as an investigator, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a standard way that you have to approach all crime scenes, or is it different depending on what it is?
It's depending on what type of crime scene it is.
When you arrive to a crime scene, what's the first thing that you do as a crime scene investigator?
As a crime scene investigator, the first thing I do is I go to the primary officer that's working the call. I get that officer, for him or her, to brief me on what they have, what they learned on the investigation. So then I can go ahead and do a walk through the crime scene to figure out what equipment I got to start pulling from my unit to start working the scene.
Once you do that, how do you start documenting a scene? Is there a certain way that you approach that?
Yes, ma'am. What I usually do is, once I get all my information, I get my camera. After my walkthrough, I get my camera and I start doing my photos, starting from exterior and working myself into the interior of the crime scene.
And when you're taking these photos, are you taking a few photos or many photos?
Many photos now.
Why is it that you are taking many photos?
You can never take enough photos, especially now with the digital cameras. You never have enough pictures.
After you do that initial documentation of photos, what is the typical next step that you would do?
Once I complete the photos, I'm looking for the evidence that's pertinent to the case. And once I find that evidence, I start placing what they call evidence markers, their numbers, and start placing them on the pieces of evidence that I'm going to collect.
And what do those markers look like?
They're just yellow tints with numbers on them.
And do those numbers correspond to anything in your documentation, or what do those numbers represent?
They represent the items that I'm going to collect, and the item that I'm going to collect has that particular number assigned to it.
So once you've tinted everything, what is the next thing that you do?
I retake my photos with the tints in them, and once I complete that, then I do a rough sketch of the scene and do measurements of the scene. But now we have a system called Faro, which is a 3D scanner, and we'll set that Faro up, and once we set the Faro up, if I set it in this room, it'll do a complete 360 and completely do a diagram of this room and get all the measurements.
And then after you've completed those second round of photos and then either a sketch or a Faro scan, what is the next thing that comes in the crime scene investigation?
I start collecting my evidence, and I'll either place it in a 6x9 envelope, 9x12 envelope, or a brown paper bag.
Is there a standard way to approach collecting evidence, or is there a strategy? How does collecting an item work? How does it look?
First of all, before you start collecting, you obviously have gloves on, and you once you got everything documented, you just pick the item up, put it in the whatever item you're going to package it in. You seal it and either put evidence tape on it or just use the tape that's on the envelope until you get it to the office.
And do you make any sort of markings on those packages?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What do you put on there?
I do the date, the time, and the location that I picked the evidence up and what the evidence is.
Now, once you've collected all the evidence on the scene, what happens to that evidence?
It's later transported to our processing lab where it is vouchered in our computer. And once it's vouchered, it's turned in to the evidence text, which at that time we will meet with the detective working that scene, the lead detective, and figure out what items, if there's any items, to be sent to the lab for testing.
When you say sent to the lab for testing, what lab do you send things to?
We send our items to the Houston DPS lab, Department of Public Safety, or Austin Department of Public Safety.
And when you say sending things to the lab for testing, what sort of testing do you send items for?
It's either going to be for DNA purposes, to analyze it, if there's blood on the evidence. We can send it to Austin for fingerprints, if we get them to fingerprint it. But we usually do it ourselves. But that's what we can utilize the labs for.
Do they also do things like biology and firearms and things like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it fair to say the crime lab tests a lot of things?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said you meet with the detectives to determine what things get sent to DPS. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So, how is it ultimately the detective's decision, or is it a group effort to decide what things get tested?
We try to have a group effort where it involves the district attorney that's involved in the case, along with the detectives, and then we only have a certain amount of items, which is 10 items, not counting the knowns, which is buckle swabs from the either suspects or victims. And we have send those particular items to the lab, and when those items come back, if we need to send more items, then we can send more items.
I want to bring your attention.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you. I apologize. I want to bring your attention to February 7th of 2025. Do you recall that date?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What were you doing on that day?
I was actually at that time, it was about 6 a.m. I was getting ready for work. I get a call from my sergeant advising me to respond to, I believe it's 4723 15th Street in Baycliff.
And it may sound silly, but can you tell me what county and state that's in?
It's Galveston County in Texas.
And so did you respond to that location?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
When you arrived there, what type of location was that?
If I remember correctly, it was a residential area, residence. Once I arrived on the scene, the investigators were already there prior to my arrival. The investigator, Rachel Martin, was already on scene, so she was the lead investigator at that scene, and she at that time assigned us different tasks.
And that was going to be my next question. So when somebody is the lead investigator, what is their role and how is it different from the rest of the investigators?
The lead investigator is the one that takes the case, and they look, like I said, they're the ones that give the assignments out of what necessarily needs to be done to get that case worked properly.
And you said that Investigator Martin was the lead and she gave out assignments, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What assignments, if any, were you given?
I was given the first assignment was the Pharaoh 3D scan assignment.
And did you complete that Pharaoh 3D scan?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. What was your next assignment?
My next assignment was to go into the living room and collect some items that were already marked, the evidence markers, and get them collected.
And did you take any photos?
I did later at my next assignment.
Okay, and I apologize, I didn't mean to get ahead of you.
No.
So, you collected the evidence.
Yes, ma'am.
What evidence did you collect?
It was going to be some cards, like credit cards, some papers, there was a purse with red droplets, which appeared to be blood. And there was a couch, and behind the couch was a wallet and a small, clear baggie with a green leafy substance, which appeared to be marijuana.
One second. And when you say cards, what type of cards were they?
I believe they were, I want to say they were credit cards. May have been, I have to go back and look at my report.
Would looking at your report help refresh your memory?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, feel free to look and then just look up at me once you feel refreshed.
All I had was a set of cards. I didn't have which ones they were.
Okay, no problem. And then the next item, or one of the other items you said was a purse, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What did that purse look like?
It was a white purse it also had some red droplets, which appeared to be blood. And then there was a couch, and right behind that couch was a blue wallet and a clear plastic bag, which appeared to be marijuana, gray leafy substance. And then the last thing I collected was a loaded magazine that was between a bedroom and a kitchen.
Now, when we're standing in the living room, what is the status of the living room? What does it look like?
It was it looked like it was kind of ransacked. It was unkept.
Was there anything else in the floor or left around that seemed out of place?
Not that I can recall, ma'am.
And then after you go through the living room, what is the next thing that you do?
My next assignment was a bedroom which faced the northeast direction of the residence, and it belonged to a Tammy King. I was advised to photograph and document that room, which at that point, as I started photographing, I observed there was a pillow, there was a desk. Under the desk, there was a pillow with red droplets, which appeared to be blood. There was also a cell phone that was sitting on a chair next to the desk. So I noticed that, and once I noticed that, I put my evidence markers down on that, and then photographed that, and then collected those items.
And did you also, or I guess after that, what did you do?
While I was still trying to complete that task, my sergeant came in and pulled me to go outside to the backyard. There was a chair that was at the fence area, and near that fence area on the cushion of the couch there appeared to be a foot impression. So he wanted me to photograph that and document that. So at that point I photographed it. I used a scale to photograph it, and then I went back in and finished up my processing of that bedroom.
And let's talk about that bedroom. What was kind of the status of that bedroom? What did it look like?
That bedroom was really unkept.
Was it more or less unkept than the rest of the house?
It was both.
Okay, what do you mean?
It seemed that room was really unkept. The living room was stuff was just moved around.
So earlier you stated that the living room looked ransacked, correct?
Yes.
And then this bedroom, did it look ransacked or did it just look messy?
It was messy.
Was there a few things or a lot of things inside this bedroom?
A lot of things.
And ultimately, did you take bedrooms of all of these locations that you just talked to us about?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Investigator Crow, I'm approaching you with what's been marked as states 73 through 89. Will you take a look at these documents and, without telling me what they are, let me know if you recognize them?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How do you recognize them?
I took these photos.
Okay. And are they a true and accurate depiction of what they purport to be?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Have they been altered in any way other than the evidence sticker added by the state?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, state moves to admit states 73 through 89, having previously tendered to opposing counsel.
No objection.
State 73 for 89 will be admitted.
And may I publish, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
Now, Investigator Crow, when I spoke to you earlier, I asked if you take a few or many photos, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, 73 through 89, is this all the photos you took or just some of them?
Just some of them, ma'am.
But do they give a fair and accurate depiction of the overall scene that you saw?
Yes, ma'am.
In state 73, can you let us know what we're looking at?
That's going to be the living room area.
And can you tell us what we see here in the middle of the floor?
Right there, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Looks like a bag of dog food.
And when you go, we see that there's a doorway straight ahead. Are there any other doorways inside this room that you know of?
Just the front door leading to that the kitchen area.
Okay. And is that the kitchen area straight ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
And where was it that you located the cards, the purse, the wallet, those sorts of things?
It's going to be right in that area, ma'am.
So kind of on the other
On
side of
on the floor, yes, ma'am, on the other side of that table.
Okay.
There'll probably be more in Investigator Martin's photos. I just started my photos from outside and worked myself into the bedroom.
Yes, sir. And you stated that you started taking photos after some of those items had already been collected, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You stated after the living room, your next location was the room you knew to be Tara's, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you walked through this door in state 73, what direction would you need to go to get to Tara's room?
Walk through that doorway, you're going to go to the immediate right.
Okay. And to the immediate right, is there only one room there, or are there more than one room?
I want to say there's more than one room. More than one room.
But you weren't assigned to go to any of those rooms?
No, ma'am.
Okay. In state 74, what are we looking at?
Looks like it's going to be the entrance into the bedroom, Tara's bedroom.
And here it looks like we get a little closer in state 75. Is this what you meant by you kind of worked your way in?
Yes, ma'am. I got a full view of the door, then I started working myself inside. Yes, ma'am.
And in state 76, is this your view when you walk immediately into Tara's bedroom?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And when you said that that room was messy, what, if anything, kind of stood out to you as being messy or not? Probably shouldn't be there.
All those cans, the bed's unmade. It's just everything is all over the floor.
Did you observe if there was any food or anything like that in the room?
I believe there was, ma'am.
And you stated that there was a desk. From this photo, where would the desk be?
It's going to be right by the bed, on the other side of that bed, be on the left side.
So off to the left of state 76?
Yes, ma'am.
Now in state 77, Is that the desk we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
And so, I know it's a little bit hard to see. So from this position on State 77, where would the bed be?
I'm sorry, that's going to be the dresser area. The bed's in front of that.
Okay. Is that again in State 78?
It's just another picture of that dresser.
Okay, so this is across from the bed, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was trying to work myself around to that location.
Yes, sir, of course. Now in State 80, what part of the room have we gotten to?
That's getting right there in the area of the desk, ma'am.
Okay. And was this part of the desk pretty cluttered, or what did you think of this?
Very cluttered.
Now in State 81, we see a little yellow card. Can you tell us what that is?
That's, yes, ma'am. That's where the number 5 was collected, the magazine, loaded magazine, outside the bedroom.
And are those the yellow tints you were talking about earlier?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
So is this from inside Tara's room looking back out?
Inside Tara's room, outside, it's going to be a little hallway right there.
Now in State 82, where did we move to?
The move past the bed. On that left side is the desk and the chair.
And so in comparison to this photo, where would the bed be?
Should be right next to that chair.
So
on
to
the right-hand side.
Perfect. So to the right-hand side of State 82.
Yes, ma'am.
In State 83, what are we looking at?
That's where I observed the pillow with the red droplet, which gave me blood.
Did you observe anything else odd or of note under that desk?
Individual bottles like that.
Could you tell what it was or what it looked like?
It is a yellowish liquid.
And is that what we're looking at in State 85?
Yes, ma'am. It's just more.
And from your training and experience, did you have an idea of what was in these bottles?
We were later told it was urine.
And does that look consistent to what you know would be urine?
Yes, ma'am.
And in State 86, is it showing us just a little bit of how messy things are? We see some food in the top right corner.
Yes, ma'am.
And here we see another one of those tint markers. What are we marking?
Marking the pillow that was later collected.
And then in State 88, we see another marker. Can you tell us what we're marking here?
That's the cell phone. It was sitting in the chair. It was later collected.
And is that a closer version of that
Yes.
phone?
Yes, ma'am.
So after you took those photos and collected the items, what all items did you collect inside Tara's room?
That was going to be a total of 4 pillows and a cell phone.
Where were all those pillows located?
The first pillow was under the desk. The other pillows were around the bed area. One was believed to be on the floor.
What was the next step that you did? Or we talked about item number 5, that was outside in the hallway, correct?
Yes, ma'am. That was picked up included with the items in the living room.
Okay. And what was item number 5?
Item 5 was a loaded magazine.
Okay. After you documented with photos and collected those items, what was the next thing that you did?
My next assignment, there was some bed sheets that were collected that the victim was lying on. I was advised to take those to the Galveston County Medical Examiner's office so they can put them in their drying cabinet.
Why do you put things in a drying cabinet?
It's to preserve them, and also you can't, if it's something wet, either with blood or any kind of liquids, to keep it from mildewing, you want to have it dry in a filtered cabinet.
And the sheets that you took, why did they need to be dried?
Because they were, I didn't get to examine the sheets. I was just advised to take them because apparently they did have liquid on them.
And after you took the sheets to the medical examiner's office, what was your next step?
Returned back to the scene where I followed all the evidence was put in our command post trailer, and part of our chain of custody is to stay with the evidence. So while the evidence was being transported to our processing lab, I followed the trailer, and once we arrived at the sheriff's office, myself and another investigator unloaded that trailer and secured everything in the processing lab.
Once you did that, did you have anything further to do with this investigation?
No, ma'am.
I'll pass this witness, Your Honor.
Right.
Thank you. My name is Bill Agnew, and I represent Uriah Urick, who's sitting here to my right.
Yes, sir.
The room, you searched Tara's room. Did you also go in and search Tammy's room, which is the alleged victim?
The victim's room I did not have any part of. No, sir.
Okay, so you were just in charge of Tara's room then?
Yes, sir.
Do you have, when you look at, you've got a pillow that's got blood on it that's under a desk. Do you have any idea how that got there?
No, sir.
Or why the blood's there?
No, sir.
Okay. Or whether it's related or not?
No, sir.
Right, okay. And then, when the shoe impression that you said you got outside, what was the purpose of that?
It's just part of our investigation, and because apparently it was brought to my sergeant's attention, and anything of evidence value, especially working a case like that, we wanted to get it photographed and documented.
As far as you know, did that have any bearing on anything that had happened here, or answer any questions?
Not that I recall, not that I know of, sir.
Okay. When you said you put in, I don't remember the term for it, but the 360 camera that you do?
The Pharaoh, yes, sir.
Pharaoh, okay. Did you do that as well in Tara's room or not?
All rooms were done, yes, sir.
Okay. And is there anything about the Pharaoh that answered any questions or led to anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll pass it on this.
Anything further?
Nothing further from the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Thank you, ma'am.
Call your next witness.
Proceed with call Andy Shamir.
Okay. You would put down for a break? Maybe even a coffee break. You want some coffee? Anyone can help you out.
Already made it.
Okay, very good. Right then, jury's going to take a quick break. You wouldn't mind waiting there. Go right ahead.
All rise for the jury.
Court stands in recess for a quick break. Lawyers, does anyone need coffee?
I would love coffee.
Okay, I can